Everyone, Michael Rooney here for the last time to wrap up my cultural learning experience. I had a great time this semester getting to know my new good friend Jesus Sanchez, who is from Caracas, Venezuela. Together, we enjoyed three separate occasions getting to know each other. For our first meeting, we met at Landon Cafeteria to talk about our experiences in education. My biggest takeaway from this interaction was that high school for Jesus in Venezuela was much more strict than it was for me in Wisconsin. Likewise, sporting events were huge for me in high school. These were times where students came together to cheer on our team almost every week, and Jesus only had big events like this a few times a semester. Likewise, he only had about three teams, being basketball, soccer, and tennis, whereas my high school had all the classics, football, soccer, baseball, basketball, track, cross country, swimming, and those all drew big crowds every week. And that was something that Jesus did not have at his high school. Other than that, we both enjoyed spending time with our friends and had a similar high school experience. Our next interaction was spent at Spare Time in Lansing with a group of my friends to enjoy their college night that they offer on every Wednesday. I decided to bring Jesus to Spare Time because this is something me and my friends do every other Wednesday. Also, a big part of my culture is enjoying time with my friends doing fun things. In this case, it was bowling and enjoying good food and beer at Spare Time. Similarly, I wanted Jesus to gain cultural insight not only from me, but from my friends as well, because I gain a lot of cultural insight from my friends, spending time with them and interacting with them, and they are all very different. For me, we all have similarities, obviously, but we also have differences, so we learn from each other, and this was something that I wanted Jesus to experience. Another reason why this was culturally relevant to me was because combining food and sports is something that I have enjoyed for a long time. Whether this be tailgating at a sporting event or just watching at home, food is always involved. In comparison, for our last interaction, Jesus came over to my house to make me a classic Venezuelan dish, arepa. So, arepa is a national dish in Venezuela comprised of a corn patty, then topped with meat and cheese. In this case, Jesus made it with pulled pork. Jesus was super excited to show me this from the get go when I told him what this third interaction would be, and he told me that he wanted to come over and make this dish for me because he had a very often back home, and he knew food was a big part of my culture as well. So he wanted to show me which food was big in his culture. So all three of these interactions allowed me to see that American students are not as different as they might think from international students. Obviously, we all have our differences, but as it turned out, there were a lot more similarities between me and Jesus than I would have expected. This knowledge will now allow me to be more open to meeting new people, especially those who may not be from our country. So, all in all, I thought this was an extremely worthwhile experience. It made me appreciate my upbringing in Wisconsin much more because I was able to compare it to someone's upbringing who comes from Venezuela. And it was just great hearing Jesus talk about his culture in Venezuela because he was very passionate about it. Being away from home for so long is something that he's not used to. So he has had a great time here at Michigan State, and I had a great time getting to know him, and he actually became a very good friend of mine. So I hope that I can continue this friendship with him for a long time now. And that wraps it up. The cultural learning experience was awesome. It was a great experience, and I now have a new friend because of it. So thanks, everyone.